can you give the listeners an idea of just some of the people you got to meet over the years? Obviously, you mentioned, Bill, David, and Michael were stars, themselves, but the star power you guys brought in on some of the films with, I was a Braves fan growing up, Chipper Jones being on there, Ned Yost, who, me being from the Midwest and also following the Royals, Ned Yost was on there. Thinking of other guys, you mentioned Dale Earnhardt earlier. Just so many people that are well recognized had hunts on these videos back in the day.
And what was so cool about all those people, well, they were just like us, man. They were just deer hunters, outdoorsmen who loved to be in hunting camp, and they didn't want you putting them on a pedestal. They enjoyed putting that stardom or that recognition to the side. And like let's see, I was saying to my first year, I went to Idaho, New Mexico, then the Milk River. And I think my fourth trip that year was to the Timmons Ranch in Texas. And I was with Bill and David and Steve Finch. And then we pull up and there's Dale Earnhardt. And I grew up in North Carolina, 25 minutes from Mooresville, which is Race City, USA. I knew who Dale Earnhardt was even back then. And he was awesome. He was the intimidator. And so I was very nervous around him, obviously, because of who he was. It was actually the first, I guess, celebrity I'd been around. And I was trying to play it cool. But once he found out I was just from down the road where he grew up, he started picking at me. And he actually said, "Can you keep a secret?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, I got a farm over there in Mooresville." And I said, "Yes, sir, I've heard about it." And he said, I got some deer over there. I need to get footage of them. When you get home, will you come over there and film my deer for me? And I'm like, absolutely. So I'd flew home and David let me keep one of the big camera packages and drove over to Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. And he meets me out front in his truck and I follow him over past the chicken houses, past, where his house was, the bush shop, they called it, the deer head shop back then. And he dumped me off in one of his big shooting houses, which this was 98. So I can tell you that Dale Earnhardt's tree house, shooting house, deer hunting blinds back then would probably rival the real nice ones these days at Redneck and those other companies. He didn't do anything halfway. So I'd film these deer, make VHS copies for him to watch. And I was 21 years old hanging out with Dale Earnhardt. And I couldn't have, couldn't believe it, really. Just thought it was so cool and definitely blessed to be a part of it. And then that same fall, I went to the Perlitz Ranch and filmed Chipper Jones kill a big deer down there with Jimmy Perlitz and those guys. And Chipper and I became really good buddies, and we're still good buddies to this day.